Because I know that you have a store in Iraq and Afghanistan, and you set it up when there was still a lot of conflict going on, and there was very little government control.
Not my words. I believe that there was more than adequate control in many of the sectors in which we were operating.
But, I mean, there was still a lot of,
It was fluid.
right. And do entrepreneurs by nature have this risk-taking personality?
No, I don't believe that entrepreneurs are risk takers. I believe that entrepreneurs have somewhat of an unbridled confidence and an unjustified confidence in their concept, which is tragic. But with regards to risk, with regards to Afghanistan and Iraq, that was probably a lot more opportunistic and stupidity
Okay.
than it was an assessment of risk. And what engendered the not succession of struggles, but with the entrance into Iraq was I remember it vividly as well. It was Tuesday morning, March 11th, 2003.
Okay.
And I was flying from Tokyo to Hong Kong, and the Wall Street Journal had a 3/4 page article on the Bush administration's plans for post-conflict Iraq. And I was just shocked. Again, connecting dots. I'm in the
Connecting
furniture
dots.
rental business.
Okay.
So my first thought was, that all of these, the indigenous population simply did not have the skill set to rebuild the country.
Okay.
So it would require thousands of expatriates. And no expatriate that I had ever encountered would want to ship their goods from Chicago or Dallas or London to Baghdad.
Right.
And so they would want to rent furniture. So it was wonderful. I figured out, finagled my way. It's a long story. I got into Baghdad
Okay.
right after the statue came down, and I actually went in through Jordan and got involved in a convoy with some interesting elements of people.
Okay.
A little bit surrounded by all of these firearms as we go into Baghdad. It was, I was with the British, and I show up with cufflinks and a suit into the palace, which was the de facto embassy, and the State Department only had 2 employees at the time.
Okay.
And I said, "Good afternoon. Hi, how are you?" And they said, "Fine. May we help you?" They thought I was with the government, and I said, "No, I'm an entrepreneur. I've heard President Bush's call to help rebuild Iraq. I'd like to open up a furniture rental store."
Okay.
Judy, the expression on their face was priceless. It's like, "Oh my golly, don't tell me that all the crazy people have started coming in again."
Okay.
It's just like, and they were just shocked. And they said, Mr. Exline, yeah, there's really, I don't know if this place is still conflict going on.
Yep.
I said, "I understand that."
Yeah. Okay.
And they go, "We don't really have regulations or know how to set up businesses yet. And how did you get here?" It was like they were shocked that I was there. So as we talked, I realized that it wasn't going to happen. And so I said, "Well, would it be better or easier for you if I came back in maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks?"
Okay.
And they just said, "Oh, yes, that would be great. Yeah, you just go and you come back in 4 or 5 weeks." Thinking I'd never come back, and everything will be just fine.
Okay.
Sure enough, less than 6 weeks later, I show back up. This time there
Okay.
are 4 people with the State Department there.
Okay.
And it's like, "Oh my gosh, the crazy guy's back." And I
They recognized you.
I was recognized. I was so excited.
Yes.
But then depressed because I went to the place I was staying and nobody wanted my sofas. So it's
Okay.
like, well, this is gonna be much tougher than I thought. Naively thinking I would just walk into Baghdad and everybody would want sofas, full furniture, but just sofas for. And so I sat there and I get this phone call. It's like 9 o'clock at night, and he goes, "Are you in America?" "Yes." "Are you in the furniture business?" I said, "Yes." "Do you have furniture?" "Yes." "In Iraq?" And I said, "No, in the region." And they said, "All right, may we meet you?" I said, "Yeah, but may I? I'm sorry, with whom am I speaking?"
Yes.
"Steve." Steve. It's like, well, okay, Steve. I'll be at the embassy in the palace tomorrow. Because maybe we meet you this evening.
Right.
I said, "Well, Steve, it's like 9 o'clock. I wouldn't even know how to tell you how to get here. We know where you are." I said, "Really? I don't even know where I am." And he goes, "That's okay. May we see you this evening?" I said, "Okay." Click. And I tell the owner of the house, I said, "Yeah, this guy Steve's coming here, and he knows where I am. I'm sorry, I should have asked you first." About 15 minutes later, these, like out of a movie, these SUVs come, guys with sunglasses come out, and I'm not going to mention all these names, but you know, this British guy, larger than life, like from Central Casting. Hello, boy. And I can call him Sir John. And he comes in there, and you know, guys inside with some sunglasses and stuff like that. Long story short, they said, you know, this is what we need for furniture. You know, we need beds and sofas and things and beds to sleep on. Can't you do that? I said, I can. They said, unfortunately, our signing authority with the USAID is only 100,000. So is it possible to get this to 95,000? I said, what if I did 92,000 US dollars? I said, great. So I went there the next morning, signed it up. I had one employee in Dubai at the time. We had one in Kuwait. And so I put like over $60,000 on my credit cards to buy and assemble all the furniture. And that's how I was the first one to get furniture into post-conflict Iraq.
Wow.
Yeah.